Hi everyone, Adibaya Bolaji here, standing outside SATTVA Theatre and Art in Jaipur, India. I'm standing outside what has been my studio space for a month here in Jaipur, and yesterday evening I had the privilege of sharing my new works with the beautiful crowd that blessed me with their presence, and I would love to share these new works with you. So if you follow me. And so the works are presented in two spaces, here and next door. Let's actually just have a walk around the space so you can just get an immediate sense of the works that are hung up. I'm looking at this painting here, which is something a little bit new for me, because normally when I paint heads, they're typically black, like very, very black. And in all of these works, I've used a lot of gold. I have used gold quite a bit before in my works, but this time round, I just couldn't get it out of my head. And maybe that's because of the time I spent in the sort of palace temple surroundings here in India. And this whole idea of wealth has been on my mind, but I don't just mean wealth from a monetary point of view. I think wealth in terms of spirituality, knowledge, wisdom in how one carries oneself. The piece next to it, this piece called Mindfulness, again, this use of gold, but gold leaf. In India, I'm finding, or in Jaipur, if you will, the root of this space goes back to particular, ways of thinking from a spiritual point of view, and just in the Sanskrits and chanting and things like this, it just made me think about enlightenment and the deepness of the mind. And therefore I wanted it to be really simple with the line, for us to enjoy the line, and then to have this individual who is very centered, who is very calm and is not affected by things around. And I have to stop here because I don't have favorites. I think all the paintings have the same worth and value for me. However, this feels just a bit special because of when I painted it and the way it came to me, and it has a bit of a romantic feel. The title of this is To Find Love Again. And again, we have the gold head, something quite new for me, and I'm loving it. And I'm loving this newness in terms of expressing myself this way. I feel it feels quite natural. It's the blue, it's this tone of blue that I don't always use, but I love, but this time I just couldn't get away from it, and I really wanted to have this tone of blue as a background. And there's just something dreamlike about it. There's something really calming. The color blue in general is a favorite color of mine. I think it's a color that really speaks to everyone, I feel. It's very dreamlike, allows for a sense of escape, but still keeps you grounded as well at the same time. This piece here called Mothers, referencing the peacock in this piece, which is a very important bird here in Jaipur, national symbol, which I saw on the first day, and all the cars stopped for the peacock, and I thought that was really interesting. So a dancer-like figure here protecting this bird in this piece, and the smaller pieces, which we'll talk about later. Still Hope, the title of this piece. With this piece here called The Beloved, you have the individual down praying, and this dove, this bird on the chest. But I wanted to play with the line work here, and I've asked a few people if they can see something immediately, and 2 people have seen it. But when you stand back from the painting, you can actually see the head of an elephant this way within the line work. So that's like the trunk coming down, and also the other way, from a royal perspective, the elephant's head going this way. when you stand back to look at it. And that's because the elephant, as we know, is an important, has a lot of significance here in India. I wanted to have this space in the canvas where you can really enjoy the color through the line. Again, these patterns came from the way I was seeing doorways in the old town. And this idea of meditation, which is a big thing here, especially when you think about yoga, to meditate means to think over something, and there's a repetitiveness of it. And I think you can meditate in a negative way if you overthink, but you can also, of course, the idea of meditation is from a positive standpoint. And so the repeating of this expression, the dot, the mark making, in the context of the title of this piece, which is The Beauty of Time, for me is just to represent that the consistency of time itself. Like, time doesn't really fail us, time is. I will speak about one of the small ones. The bird is, again, going back to this thing about influence. I already use birds as an important symbol in my work, but then when I came here to Jaipur, they're everywhere, and in a really beautiful way. And I feel like, again, there was similarities between colors that I would find in Yoruba print versus what I would see here in prints here in Jaipur. Birds for me are important from the point of view of to have a mindset that sees the bigger picture. I think this room we're coming from is really calm and meditative, and then we come into this room and it's the other side of me, I think, that's really bouncy, highly playful, and this joyfulness of color. This piece is called When Things Align, and again, through the use of the line, playing with this idea of alignment and everything just making sense, arriving at the right time within an individual's life. This big piece here, the diptych, is called The Guru and the Boy Who Became. So you can see the hand of the Guru, like anointing, blessing, praying for, touching the head, the mind of this young boy who is about to go on a journey, or who is in the middle of a journey himself. And this piece here called A Dance for Protection, that was from my workshop here with Renuka Kumar, who is the owner of the space and a choreographer and dancer, and she was teaching me about the hand symbols from our workshop, and that found its way into the work along with the peacock at the bottom. I want us to follow to go to the big piece, which is called Chosen. We take the journey. This is the journey that people took last night. It was darker and there was candles, lights everywhere. And we've hung this piece outside Renuka's house, which is part of the grounds. So I'll move out the way so you can come to it. And this is done on linen, painted with gold and black, and I've heavily layered this so that when I applied the gold, it had this real richness and texture to it and deepness. I like when you can see the paint has different marks on it. It gives a kind of rhythm. And then I just wanted a really simple figure that's reminiscent of the way I saw the sculptures in the Albert Museum here in Jaipur, where they had sculptures of like the Buddha, figures like this. And again, that just reminded me of my own work. So I thought, okay, the two are combining. And it gave me confidence to go with that expression. And I didn't want to do too much. I thought that the way I've used the gold in and of itself was a beautiful way for the piece to express. And so that I didn't need too much in the figuration, and I didn't need to overload it with different colors. I thought the colors definitely were enough. So that's it. Thank you for following me around the space, and I hope you've enjoyed looking at the works. Thank you.